There's a cold front moving into Texas, and it's a perfect opportunity for me to make some German comfort food for cold days. So I'm going to bake a Bratapfelkuchen. So I have to mix some dough first. The dough will go into the baking pan, and then we'll add some apples and some pudding. And so in order to make the dough, I first have to put my flour into my mixing bowl, all of it. And I add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and I mix this into the flour. That's very important. Always mix the baking powder into the flour. Okay. I also add some butter. And 1 egg. Also some sugar. Let me move this a little over here. And now I will give it a mix, and I'll see you back in a few minutes. Good, so this has been kneading just a few minutes. It's not bread, unlike bread where the kneading time is rather long. I do not want a very long kneading time for cakes, and so I'll just try to pick up the loose parts here on the bottom of the bowl and move it over here and give it a quick knead by hand so that I can be sure that everything is cooperated. And we call this dough a Mürbeteig. Okay, so you can see it's a very nice and smooth dough, and I put it into a bowl and cover it. And now it goes into the fridge for 30 minutes. Now, while the dough is resting in the fridge, I will prepare my apples. You should choose some slightly sour apples. I know it's difficult. Most apples here in America are very sweet. I sent my husband to buy some, and he said that the description said it is slightly sour. So let's hope for the best. And I will peel these apples, and I will remove the stem with the seeds. And these are really huge apples. So if you have smaller apples, you probably need a few more. The point is that it has to fit into your baking pan at the end. These are really giant apples. Okay, here's my tool to remove the inner part. It's not as sharp as it used to be, let's say that. I'll try my best here. Okay. There's still some in. Alright, so this will take a while, and I will continue and prepare all my apples. I'll also make the top and bottom a little shorter. Yeah, And I will do that with the rest of the apples too. My next preparation is about the raisins. You can leave them out if you don't like raisins. I put them in, and these raisins are very dry from the package, and I soak them in some rum. And since my bottle of rum is finished and I'm not going to buy a new one until summer and until I make a new rum pot, I will just use some of the leftover rum from my rum pot, and I will add 2 or 3 tablespoons to these raisins, and I just let them soak in it, and later I will remove the rum and just use the raisins. Okay, I set this aside. So now for my vanilla pudding, I use 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. Yes, you heard that right. And I put it into my cook pot. And then I add 1 cup of just regular milk. All right. And now I will be using just a regular cook and serve vanilla pudding. Make sure that you really have the cook and serve product, not the one that is made with cold milk. That will not work, so it really has to be one that you cook. I had to go and buy a package just a few minutes ago because my husband brought me the wrong package. Happens to the best. Okay, so now I add this to the milk and cream. Mix it well. And now I will put it on the stove and bring it to a boil. So here's the dough that I put in the fridge. I already touched it. It's cool now. Could be a little bit colder, but yeah, I think that's as good as it gets right now. And I will now use my baking pan. I prepared my baking pan with some parchment paper, and I also greased the sides with some butter. And I will now use this dough, and yeah, I just spread it in here, and I want to cover the sides as high as possible, so that will take a little while. So now it's time to add the apples, and I hope they all fit in here. I usually have smaller apples and a few more of them. And it's okay that the apples have, you know, oxidated a little bit. It's not a problem because you won't see it later. Yeah, I think it looks good, although I think some of the apples could be a little shorter. Let me remove some of them. So they're a little bit too high. And by the way, I tasted these apples. They're very delicious, but they are not sour at all. They are quite sweet. Yeah. This one's quite big. All right. And the last one. This one could still be a little shorter. Okay, that's nice. Now, the raisins soaked in the rum, and now I will take some of them and put them into the apples. Trying not to lose track of where I put them already. Okay. And now it's time to add the vanilla pudding. It has already boiled, it's right behind me. It cooled a little bit. Stir it one more time. And now I try to evenly put it in and on and around my apples. Okay. That looks nice and it smells very much like vanilla now. Okay. I probably could have cut the apples even shorter, but I don't know, I kind of like it like that actually. Alright. So this goes in the oven. I have preheated the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like 180 degrees Celsius, and it will bake in there for about 70 minutes.